It's finally time, man. It's time to ask the great old question. Should you summon Rise of the Shield Hero? We have made so many videos over the past week and a half of just non-stop Shield Hero stuff, non-stop Shaman King, covering as much as we can about the crossover and keeping you guys up to date with everything that's happening on Global GS. And if you missed any of those videos, I highly encourage that you go watch them because I go into detail multiple times about each of these Shield Hero units, what their purpose is, what their role is to play in the meta or in your team comps, and maybe or maybe not already giving some people an idea if they should summon or skip this banner. And with this should you summon, I feel like it's going to be fairly easy, but I'm going to do something a little bit different this time around, just because I feel like we need to discuss everything that's going to be happening in the near future for Global Grand Summoners before you guys start spending your crystals like crazy, so you can maybe save up, wait for some stuff to happen, and then start summoning. So let's go over this banner real quick though before we get into all that. The units that will be on this banner, of course, will be all of the Shield Hero units apart from Naofumi. Naofumi is a free-to-play taunt tank that you can get by playing the event, and you can also get every single one of these Shield Hero units up to a maximum of 120 luck. Yep, you heard me right. Every single one of these Shield Hero units from Naofumi, from Raphtalia, Melty, Philo, everybody can get up to luck 120. You just have to play the event, which of course I highly recommend that you do, even if you think you're not going to be using them. Just because the more luck units you have, the better. There may be an event that comes out later on, you could use Melty in it, and it's gonna make the event or the grind stupidly easier. So don't sleep on grinding your characters to 120 luck. Trust me guys, it's worth it in the long run. And then the banner mates that are gonna be featured alongside the Shield Hero are gonna be Olga, Tammy, and of course Wargle. Tammy and Olga is actually making their first debut in Global. They have never been released before, and they're kind of older units. These guys are supposed to come out about a year ago in Global because they came out 2 years ago in JP. So they're a little bit late to the party, but at least they got here. And Wargle's been in the game for who knows how long, but he's also a really solid breaker if you're interested in trying to get him. Now, like I said before, I've already discussed each of these units in detail, but if you didn't watch those videos, I guess I'll give you guys a quick summary of what each of them do. Raphtalia is a light attacker that has built-in crit chance if you are using her true weapon with her. Not only this, she has a very unique kit where she wants to be around a taunt tank to actually get the most damage off as possible. If she's on a team with a taunt tank and the tank itself is taunting the enemy, she'll give them a multitude of buffs, including from max HP buff to a healing buff and also a damage buff for herself. Philo is just an earth attacker that has a chance to deal a lot of damage and also scales with the boss's HP. Every time the boss's HP gets lower and lower and lower, Philo actually gets more and more powered up. She's very similar to Dark Mars X if you've been playing the game for a while, and some people may be interested in this type of playstyle. Next is Melty, and Melty I think is probably one of the best units from this entire banner because she is a support unit. So if you're coming into the game and you're brand new because of Shield Hero, or you just started playing GS, whatever the case may be, and you are lacking in support units, I actually do recommend that you probably try to go for Melty. Now Melty can't be used in every single team comp because she is type B Archgen. If you don't know about Archgen types, cards popping up on your screen right now, but of course if you're newer to the game, you don't really need to worry about type B Archgen because you're probably not going to have too many type B Archgeners anyway. Hell, you may not even have one. So if you're brand new, Melty would be an invaluable asset to obtain for your account. Olga is a fire physical nuke support, nuke hybrid unit, whatever you want to call them. Benefits from being on a team with a demon and a human. Reason why is because he's actually able to access some of his strongest buffs and strongest debuffs by being on teams with those units. So if you really want to fire physical nuke enemies and stuff like that, I kind of do recommend trying to go for Olga, but if you don't really care too much about fire nuking, then I think you don't really need to go for him super hard. And then last but not least is Tammy. Tammy is a water breaker. It revolves around freezing and breaking the enemy. She gets tons of damage bonuses if the enemy is broken, and she also gets damage and break bonuses whenever the enemy is frozen, if I'm not mistaken. So if a breaker interests you, of course, you can go for her, but to me, I don't think she's going to be used too much. As I said before, if you want more of a detailed explanation of each of these guys, go check out those videos. Also, before we get any further, have you hit the like button yet? I greatly appreciate it. Also, subscribe, helps me out tremendously whenever you guys do that. So we know the banner, we know what the units are, we discussed them so much, OP. What do we do now? Do we summon? Do we wait? Do we skip? What's the deal? And here's what I'm personally going to say to a lot of people. Usually I do this by saying if you're free to play, if you're new, I think if you should summon or not. But I'm just going to be honest with all you guys. The Shield Hero crossover is not extremely broken. None of these units are necessarily game changing. None of these units are necessarily doing something different than what we have currently in the game. So no one are meta breakers. No one is game changing. No one is necessarily super OP meta. So if you are going to summon on this, I think you need to be aware of that. Not only that, I think we also need to take into account everything that's going to be happening in the near future for Grand Summoners Global. For example, we are currently in the 3.5-year anniversary for Grand Summoners Global, and they haven't actually announced every single thing to come out yet with the 3.5-year anniversary. They've showed off some stuff in game and showed off some stuff in Discords that they have planned, but they haven't actually said if we're going to be getting a new saga, a new crossover, or a pretty OP banner coming out very soon. So here is my recommendation for people who are wanting to summon on this and you don't really know about the future, or you know about the future of GS, in terms of banners at least, because these recommendations may sway you from not summoning on this banner or waiting a little bit before you actually try to summon. So first and foremost, we have one of the biggest crossovers coming out, probably more than likely right after Shield Hero, which is going to be Shaman King. Shaman King is bringing two really strong units, which of course is Hao and the boy Yo. Hao is just a huge DPS machine. There's not really much else to say about him. He just does damage on top of damage on top of damage, and he does it really well. Yo, on the other hand, is more of a supporting unit for fire allies and works extremely well with Hao. So these are two units that's pretty much on everybody's radar ever since Shaman King got announced. Another thing that we can mention about these crossovers and sagas coming out, we still have not got any confirmation or any word on when Phantom Snipers is releasing. If you don't know what units are included in Phantom Snipers, these are some of the big names that are coming out later on. You have stuff like Haruto, Dark Haruto, Simon, Miranda. I forgot the fire girl's name, but the one with the bow. These units could be dropping at any moment, or more so, Haruto himself could be dropping at any moment within the next few weeks because of the 3.5-year anniversary. Trust me, they've done this plenty of times where they release a crossover and then a week or two later, they start one of the craziest sagas that we've ever seen. And Haruto is also a extremely strong support unit that is type B Archgen. And more than likely, if you wind up getting Melty, you're probably going to throw her under the bus if you wind up pulling Haruto, because Haruto is going to be one of the best support units in the entire game. Now, this is just speculation, of course, because we have no confirmation at all when this stuff is coming out. So what I would recommend that you guys do, if you are trying to summon on this banner, I would say probably wait until the next maintenance gets announced and see what's coming after Shield Hero. That's if you really want to summon on this banner. Because personally, I feel like for everybody, unless you're brand new to the game, because of course summon, these units are going to help you no matter what. If you're not brand new to the game, I don't think you want to summon on this banner because there's just so much stuff coming out in the next few months that you really need to be saving your crystals for if you are hoping to get any of those units. So yes, that is my recommendation to all of you guys. If you want to summon and you're more of an older player, I would recommend waiting and spending your crystals maybe once the next maintenance gets announced, or if you're planning on spending money, maybe wait for the discounted multi-summons to come out with this banner. If you're free to play and you want to summon, like I said before, wait to see what the next maintenance has to offer before you actually decide to go in for the Shield Hero units. As for everyone else, or if anybody else is on edge, I personally feel like that you could easily skip the Shield Hero crossover and you wouldn't really be suffering from it at all. But OP, what about the Gacha banner? Well, the Gacha banner kind of falls under the same thing. If you don't need any type of AoE Archgen items, I actually don't recommend going for it, because the only AoE Archgen item in that, at least if I'm remembering correctly, is only Melty's Dress. And Melty's Dress, you only need one copy because it cannot stack with itself. So I think for everybody, unfortunately, this crossover is probably a skip. Of course, summon on it. If you are a fan of Shield Hero, you want to use these units, because if you're using units that you like, you're just going to have so much more of an enjoyable time with the game. Trust me, Fate taught me this one. Who cares about the meta if you're not using the units that you enjoy? But as for me, and what I recommend that most of you guys skip this banner. Save your crystals, save your currency from this crossover, stack up as much as you can, because as soon as Shaman King comes out, or as soon as Phantom Snipers releases, you will be ready and you'll have a better chance of pulling the units that you actually want. So guys, that's going to be it for this video, man. Thank you all for coming out. If you're going to be summoning for any of these units, I wish you the best of luck. Like I said, I'm skipping this crossover. I'm going to be doing the event and all that just to get the crystals, but I won't actually be summoning on the banner whatsoever. Thank you all again for coming out though. It's been your bro P. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe for more. Thank you guys so much for all the support on the channel recently. It's been absolutely insane. I can't thank you guys enough. And last but not least, you guys already know, don't forget to drink water.